We're driving the updated 2025 Toyota Sienna. Is this the best minivan you can buy?
But first, here's how much the Sienna costs.
This generation of Sienna, when it launched, felt a little low rent in certain places, and they've tried to address that. The dash, the center console they've updated with new trim. The seats have been improved. Also, we're driving the fanciest rendition of Sienna. This is the Platinum trim. All that said, I still wouldn't say it's plush in here.
It definitely feels more functional than fancy in here, although I do really like this material. There is so much storage. It's as if they're mocking me and my complaints about cup holders with how many cup holders are in
You
here.
want more cup holders? Here's your cup holders. It's a passive-aggressive amount of cup holders, 18 in total.
But I still have a cup holder complaint.
You really? How?
They're a little bit small.
Well, if the one you're trying is too small, just find another. Like,
I think they're all a little small, you know?
we could not be more American right now.
My cup fits fine. I'm just thinking of people who have like Stanleys and stuff. There are also so many little nooks and bins, a ton of places to store things in the door. There's this huge dash nook that also has a wireless phone charger and a charge port. I love how generous the center console is. Under the console, there is a huge bin where you can fit a purse, maybe even a diaper bag.
She's out of diapers, which suggests to me that the only diapers we'd have in here would be for me. Are you planning ahead?
Are the diapers to contain gas?
Oh, jeez. No diaper can contain me.
You're in charge of the content edit, so we'll see if that makes it in.
Speedily moving to the poor seat that has to endure me, I find no pressure points here and reasonably supportive. The LE and XLE trims, which are the two lowest, come standard as 8-passenger versions, and then you can also choose a 7-passenger version with second row captain's chairs. All other higher trims are 7-passenger.
I like the 7-passenger configuration for access to the third row.
One really cool thing, though, that they do with the 8-passenger version is that middle second row seat can be removed and stored on board in a nook in the cargo area. I'm 5'10", long torso, poofy hair, super average American guy. I can sit comfortably behind my preferred front seat position and comfortably behind that position. That is a truly adult-worthy third row seat. And it's got a little recline. One challenge we have with the Sienna is the second row seat functionality. Kiddo, were you able to get the second row out of the way to climb into the third row?
Nope.
There are other manufacturers that have just like a push button release solution, like Honda Pilot comes to mind. That would be a really neat thing to include in a family-friendly vehicle like the Sienna.
When she was in the third row, she was able to move the seat out of the way with that strap.
And when the second row is moved into its forward position, there is a good amount of space for climbing into and out of the third row. For rear passenger comfort, though, I do like that there are vents kind of all about.
And I like the placement of rear vent controls and heat seaters.
Seat heaters.
I was like, I know that's not right. I like that it's placed high. Smaller kids who shouldn't be messing with it won't, but adults or full-grown kids who can use them responsibly can still reach them.
Kiddo, how are you enjoying your second row seat?
I really enjoy it. One of the reasons is it has a little footrest thing. You can like pull a lever on the side and it just lifts up.
We got built-in ottomans in our second row, and they're also a really long slide seat. So if you don't have anybody in the third row, you can slide way back, flip up the ottomans, and have a very relaxing ride. What's it like climbing in and out of the Toyota Sienna? Is it easy or hard?
There's a ginormous handle here, so I think it's pretty easy.
And I like that the handle is well suited for a taller person and a smaller person.
Yeah, and step-in height, very, very low. A minivan superpower are sliding side doors. They're powered standard in the Sienna, and then we have the optional kick functionality, which is really helpful if you have arms full of baby or, I always go to firewood too. I'm like,
Baby
these are the only two things you could ever carry, baby and firewood.
Since you can't think of anything, here are some other ideas.
We also have a similar kick function for the rear lift gate. Behind that power lift gate, we've got 33.5 cubic feet of space, a deep well for cargo, and then you flip the seats down and they dump right into that well. The second row seats do not remove, but they do snug right up against the front seats. As a bonus, you'll never be tempted to remove those unremovable seats and then injure yourself in the process because you're trying to look manly. I haven't done it yet, but it's just a matter of time. A tire repair kit comes standard in the Sienna, but there is an option to add a spare tire. However, when you add that option, you lose the long slide ottoman second row seats. Choose wisely. Now, sweetie, what is the car seat situation?
There are top tethers in each of the 5 rear seats, 2 sets of lower anchors in the second and third row. I'm 5'2". Behind a workable front seat position for myself, there is room for a rear-facing car seat in the second row, and behind that in the third row as well.
And don't let the imagery fool you. We could have slid that second row seat a little bit farther forward to make more room for that third row rear-facing car seat.
Kiddo was enjoying the ottoman before we shot that.
As for safety, the NHTSA has rated the Sienna 5 stars overall, though interestingly, it's only 3-star for driver front impact, which as the driver got my attention. We'll focus on the positive in that 5-star overall rating. Meanwhile, the IIHS rates the Toyota Sienna a top safety pick. There are 10 airbag standard plus a full suite of active driver assist technology and a new feature for 2025, an advanced radar-based rear occupant detection system to sense movement in the vehicle. We tried very hard and our kid could not make it work. But if you want to make sure it's activated, you have to go through the gauge cluster here and kind of do a little bit of digging around. Though it didn't work for us, when it does work, it's supposed to honk the horn and notify the owner via the Toyota app. With all that said, family, what do we think? Is the Toyota Sienna family friendly?
Family friendly.
Rear window test. That's not all the way down at all. Receive your high five. Boop. Armrest test. Driving in a comfortable 8 and 4, we've got these dedicated armrests. They could be more cushioned, but they're really well positioned. A little bit squishier outboard though. I'm gonna go 70% inboard, 85% outboard. Moving on, we're to style. Toyota's never been afraid to take big swings with their minivan styling, and we see that here. The latest generation of Sienna has that tall, almost SUV-ish like nose, though it does not look like an SUV.
It looks like a little button nose on the front.
Ding!
I really like how swoopy it is on the side. Those are some really deep creases. And I like how they integrate with the headlights and taillights, even though it makes it look like sad clown eyes in the back.
For 2025, there are a couple of exterior updates for the Sienna. On the Woodland and the premium trim like we're driving here, there are some new wheel choices. And then over in the back here, there's a little badge that says HEV. This is new, stands for Hybrid Electric Vehicle. And that's it. And with nothing else to note, I will quickly say that if you're in the market for premium sunglasses or eyeglasses and you'd like to help support our channel, consider Flying Eyes Eyewear. They're uniquely lightweight, bendable, and comfortable, making them perfect for pilots like me underneath my headset, but also motorcyclists or just normal commuters. What makes this wizardry possible? Click the link in the description below. There are other minivans that I think are more attractive than the Sienna.
Not my style, but I really appreciate that they took a big swing.
Same. But what do you think? Do you like the Sienna style? Yes? No? Tell us in the comments. Also, thank you for watching this video. We appreciate you joining our fun little family. Moving on, we're to In Motion. There are a variety of changes for 2025, but there really aren't any dynamically. The body tends to move around a little bit. It wants to float, especially over big bumps. From a passenger comfort perspective, especially like, those prone to nausea, a more settled body I think would work a little bit better. But overall, ride quality is comfortable. We live in a mountain community and every road curves here, and making my way around, the word that came to mind was docile. Okay, we'll turn, but it's not like eager, which is fine. I'm not expecting inspired handling from a Toyota Sienna. Go where I want it to go, be predictable, don't scare me in the process, great. An interesting aspect about the Sienna is that they all come as hybrids. So we have a very efficient vehicle here. I'm gonna floor it, floored, whee! Power output is adequate, but not inspirational. Again, I don't know, I'm seeking inspiration from driving a minivan, but what I did note is that coming up the long, steep grades to our mountain community, there's some of that engine racing noise. Just know that that's normal, and the Sienna is doing its best to try and keep you up to speed. Oh, and then there is an EV mode. Let's put that on.
What's EV mode?
So we're powered right now only by electricity, but I bet this goes away as soon as I start to accelerate. There we go. Deactivated because the accelerator was pushed too far. So when you want to creep home late at night in your minivan, do so slowly. Moving to the Micah Muzio Limo Challenge. Let's see if I can get this buttery smooth stop that I am famous for. It was so close. It was so close.
So close.
It's very, very hard to get this thing to a perfect smooth stop, but I think that's well within the margin of error. Last observation, if you go with the all-wheel drive version, it adds an electric motor to the rear. We live where it snows, so a little bit of extra wintertime traction would be welcome. It's worth noting the ground clearance is only 6.3 inches. Interestingly, they do offer a more rugged version called the Woodland Edition, and that ups the ground clearance to 6.9 inches, but I would still be very, very cautious when you go out onto trails. I would tiptoe judiciously. That's what I think about driving the Toyota Sienna. What does Sweetie think? Evie's at the wheel. When you're ready, floor it.
Whoa.
Little light tire spin.
That is not the first time I've spun the tires in this thing.
Sweetie's got a need for minivan speed. How does this thing feel to steer?
It is not my favorite type of steering because there's a lot of play on center before you actually turn.
Because like when you make a turn, you want to know that the car is hearing your request and responding to it promptly?
Yes.
That's it. Does the car go where you want it to go?
It does.
What about size and visibility? Any challenges managing this thing?
It is a larger vehicle than I normally drive, but it was easy to maneuver through parking lots. I didn't have any trouble with that. What I do have a problem with is over my right shoulder, there is a huge blind spot. Please tell me there's blind spot warning.
Yes, there is standard blind spot warning. Any challenges in terms of like driving position?
This seat is super adjustable, like angle, height. I have a great driving position.
If you were in the market for a minivan, are there any game killers that would keep you from driving a Toyota Sienna?
No game killers here.
Brilliant! I'm getting back in the driver's seat. Moving on to remarks. The standard screen on the base LE trim is an 8-inch screen, but all other trims get this new 12.3-inch unit. And this addresses one of our biggest complaints about the 2024 Sienna. The backup camera was low res, everything felt like just really, really old. This has Toyota's updated modern system.
It is so easy to use this system. There are shortcuts on the side. I do wish the icons for that were a little bit larger, but I have bad eyes. I appreciate that there is a physical control for the volume and that the HVAC controls are not in the screen because that makes them way easier to use.
This is a much improved system versus 2024, and I did check, resolution on the rear backup camera is better indeed. I can see my child. With either the base screen or the 12.3-inch unit we have here, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto come standard, which pairs really nicely with this wireless phone charger. Over in front of me, there's a standard 7-inch screen, and then on higher trims, there's a new 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster. Okay, one weird thing I noticed after we shot our video, at certain sun angles, the little plastic piece that covers the gauge cluster completely covers over so you can barely see the gauges. That's weird. One thing I don't have in here is Driver Easy Speak. That's the system where you can amplify the driver's voice to those in the back. Not so relevant for second row passengers, but third row passengers, they need to hear my demands so they can then ignore them.
Why do you need to tell us demands if we're just gonna ignore them?
That's parenting, baby.
A couple more screen thoughts. They do offer a rear seat entertainment system, but it's $1,400, and to my mind, you'd probably better spend that money on a couple of iPads. We do also have a head-up display here, which is a platinum trim exclusive. And then we also have the 360-degree camera system, and I like how it does that thing where it caches imagery so you can have like a quasi see-through view of the vehicle, but I wish they offered it on lower trims. Quickly encapsulating the updates for 2025, there are some mild exterior updates, some interior trim updates, updated infotainment and gauge cluster displays, plus USB-C ports throughout the cabin. And then they have added a new fridge box and a vacuum, which comes standard on the Platinum trim, but are optional on the Limited trim. Do you like distracting your child by having her vacuum out the back of your minivan? You're gonna love that vacuum. Returning to this video's original premise, is this the best minivan you can buy? Well, from a driving perspective, I prefer the Odyssey. From a style perspective, I prefer the Kia Carnival. But if you demand a minivan that combines reliability, excellent fuel economy, solid functionality, and optional all-wheel drive traction, then yes, the Toyota Sienna is the best minivan you can buy. And now let's take a look under the hood in a test inspired by my buddy Brian. Here's how you open the hood on a Toyota Sienna minivan. Here's where you check the engine oil. Here's where you can add engine oil, and over on the right side, that's where you can add the washer fluid. And if you're wondering what the Sienna's horn sounds like, all right, let's talk engine choices. The only engine offered is the 2.5-liter hybrid 4-cylinder. If you want all-wheel drive, it costs $2,000 on the lower trims, but less than $1,000 on the higher trims. When it's time to fuel up, regular fuel is fine, and if you want to tow, it maxes out at 3,500 pounds.
Sweetie, please share our trim recommendation.
I will. Our trim rack is which trim will give you the essential features you'd regret not getting, but at the lowest possible price. The base LE trim includes 3-zone climate control, power side doors, and an 8-way power driver's seat. It would be fine, except it doesn't include smart key access, so we'll recommend the XLE. It's a $4,800 jump from the base trim, but it adds 4-zone climate control, faux leather seats, front and rear parking sensors, a power liftgate, hands-free sliding doors, and smart key access. As for competitors, there's the Kia Carnival, which is offered as a hybrid. There's the Chrysler Pacifica that offers a plug-in hybrid. And then there's the Honda Odyssey. Did we miss any remarks? If so, tell us in the comments section. And now it is our daughter's time to shine. Child, can you tell us what is your favorite feature in the Toyota Sienna minivan?
I really like the owner's manual. It's pretty interesting to read.
Kiddo, tell me, what is the most interesting thing that you found in the owner's manual?
Well, I was reading through the warnings and I found one that says it's really dangerous to have this seat touching this seat.
Is it because my seat has cooties?
It's in the cooties section of the owner's manual. Family, I think we've done a good job discussing cooties, an important topic for any family, and also reviewing the Toyota Sienna minivan. May I have a 5?
Ew, he has cooties.
I certainly do. And a 5? And you, come get your cooties. Boom! And now please enjoy our AI-generated synopsis song about the cootie-filled Toyota Sienna minivan.